Today's episode is brought to you by ETB Games. ETB Games is, of course, our locals in Alexandria, Louisiana. They are our one-stop shop for all of our card game needs. They have singles and sealed product for the games that you love, like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon. Of course, you can also find the accessories that you need, such as sleeves, binders, playmats, and more. And if you're into D&D, well, they have all of your D&D figurines, the paint for the figurines, dice, books, and anything that you would need to play. So be sure to check out ETB Games. There's a link in the description down below. And now, back to today's episode.
Top cut, welcome to the top cut, welcome to the top cut, welcome to the top cut. Top cut, welcome to the top cut, welcome to the top cut, welcome to the top cut.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name, of course, is Sunny. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Caleb.
Hello.
And, of course, we want to thank everybody for joining us today on this wonderful, beautiful Tuesday morning. So, of course, we want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors, starting with ETB Games, who you heard an ad for at the beginning of this episode. We also want to thank Gem Accessories and Millennium Threads. There's links with discount codes down below. Let us know if the discount code isn't working. We did hear that one of them wasn't working. We're working on fixing that.
Yeah.
Bear with us. Also, be sure to check out TCG Player and Dragon Shield accessories. We have links with their affiliate links down below. So full disclosure, we do get a kickback when you shop using those links. They do help the podcast to stay alive. And what's our next goal for something that we want to get for ourselves with like money earned for the podcast? Because I feel like it's like a good thing to be very public about and forthcoming.
Fair. I was thinking we could probably get a little mini computer so that way we can record our streams a little better.
Yeah,
Well, or not our streams, or we can do our guest recordings a little better.
Yeah. So I want to get like little lapel mics, not necessarily for when we're recording here in studio, but more like say we are like out recording gameplay or something like that, or if we're like at an event and we want to record an interview with somebody, and we can they make like wireless Bluetooth lapel mics that you can clip on and they sync to your phone for audio. So something like that would be really cool. Also, some studio lights, some more lighting in here, because the lighting is not that great in here.
We try.
Yeah, we have a ring light, so that's something.
We've done a lot with the little that we have.
Yes, for sure. And the people that have supported that the most are our wonderful patrons. So a huge thank you to our wonderful patrons, starting with Cam Yang, Dragon Maid Stunzeed, Kane Martin, Zyphorus, Yeet Defeat, Blackwing, Silverwind the Ascendant is the best Floodgate, Branded Kage, the Gaptooth Rascal, Earth Machine Best Deck, Epi, has anyone actually read Toy Vendor, HGH Cyber, I Am McLincoln, Look, can we just admit NNN is a floodgate at this point, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Pig, Quitting the Game is a floodgate, Sprite Farter, the Top Cut podcast is proudly sponsored by Tier Limit Zero, Unbanned Number 95 Konami, Understanding and Reading are two different things, Virtually Savior's World, Rogue, and Tier 2 are the polite terms for bad deck, AD, Aaron Gardner, Asami, Ashless Chaps, Cyberdank, Puffer Dragon, don't listen to the guy who hates Rogue decks, he's just salty, he got clapped by Rika, Duty Booty, Dragon Maidenless Behavior, Fur Hire Dog Turd, Herios Pebble Cereal, Jerry Beans Man, Cam, the Disciple of Caleb's Waifu Philosophy, King Henry, Old Pan Red, Pin Code 143, Ray Powell, Sky Striker Maneuver, Scoop, Slaking It Up, Scoop them up.
Yeah.
And Slaking It Up. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the podcast. We do want to like really thank the patrons whenever we can, because I've said it once, I'll say it again. They literally make this production happen. So.
Oh, yeah.
And the next thing to do is we got something cool. We got
a review.
Yeah. So we do have a new review on Apple Podcasts. This review actually came in like two months ago, but we just now saw it. So
yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, we do try to read the reviews and thank people that leave reviews when we can. And we like to read out those nice reviews that y'all leave on the podcast. So a huge thank you to Manny from Chai. CHI. Looks like it should be Chicago.
Maybe.
But it's just CHI. But Manny from Shy. To great podcast, and it's one of the reasons I got back into the game after a decade break. Love listening and watching their YouTube apps. Thank you. Thank you so much. There's a lot more work going into the YouTube than it might seem like based off quality of video.
Yeah.
But our YouTube is our next thing that we want to grow by a lot because, we think that the possibilities are kind of just like endless on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have an episode coming next week that is going to be, we've already recorded it, but it's taking a long time to edit because there's just a lot happening on the episode.
To be fair, it's also an hour long instead of like...
No, it's an hour and 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah, nearly, yeah. It's much
over an hour and a
long-
half.
Yeah,
it's a little over an hour and a half.
It's much longer, and there's a lot more actual editing going into this one.
Yeah. So this one, it's a guest episode. And I'm not going to spoil who the guest is.
Yep.
But I'm just going to say you should be subscribed to our YouTube because the reaction shots, just the silly faces made in that particular episode are worth subscribing to our YouTube alone just for that. It's going to be an amazing episode. I'm telling you now, I cannot express enough how awesome this episode is going to be.
Yeah.
So be sure to go ahead and check out our YouTube if you're not already subscribed. And with that said, let's go ahead and get on into the episode. So today we wanted to do something a little bit different, which I feel like I say a lot, but we actually did today.
Well, I mean, we normally do something a little different from the previous episode.
Yeah, so we're going to spend the entire episode doing mailbag questions.
So we got a lot of them.
Yes, because I tagged the entire Discord server and I said, send us mailbag questions. So we want to go ahead and I like the idea of doing like a full mailbag a full mailbag episode every now and then, just to kind of talk to, have that discourse with the community and have that rapport with the community.
Yeah, a little back and forth.
Yeah, for sure. And if you are wanting to ask us your burning questions, then join our Discord server. There's a link down below to join our Discord server. We haven't been running the remote duel tournaments lately. We might start that up again in either January or February. I'm not entirely sure yet because it's like a lot to do. Like it takes a lot of like time and effort and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're not ruling out doing it again soon. So stay tuned for that. All right. So next, let's go ahead and hit the first couple of questions. Do you guys have any Thanksgiving traditions? This is an older question. Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
Focus.
Well, we answered that like...
Did we?
Yeah, we answered that a while ago.
Okay. If you guys had $1 for every Bolt card in your possession, how rich would you be?
Broke. I'd have more money than I have now. I'd probably have like $800.
Okay. I would have between 10 and 15,000. Probably, I don't know. Okay. So I have this habit of buying collections.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I don't necessarily have the money to do it.
It's a problem.
Yeah, but if I see a really, really good deal on a collection, I'll go after it. Especially if it's tons of bulk. I love bulk. I don't necessarily love like
going through it,
like straight like common bulk, but like just like random hollow bulk. Oh, my heart melts. Like if I see that like that big 5,000 count 5 rows box and it's just full of like random hollow bulk. Oh, let me get it, dog. I need it.
he has a problem.
I like bulk. What's the issue?
You don't like going through bulk.
Generally, I pay Caleb to sort it for me.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Caleb, here's all of my bulk. Please sort it for me and just find whatever you want out of it and you can have it.
Yep. Secretly, I take all the best stuff.
You know what? And I never noticed because...
Exactly. You don't know what you bought.
Right. I just buy it and then give it to you to sort for me. Yeah. And amazingly, even doing that, we still can't keep up. There's still... To be fair, right now we're kind of bottlenecked because we don't have enough storage space.
And right now I don't have the space right now to even go through my own bulk.
Yeah. I need like some more of those big 5,000 count boxes. That's what I really need. I need like 6 more of them.
Yeah, we can get them next month from our patrons.
Potentially. Or we have an Amazon wish list.
Oh my god.
which there's a link to that down below. And if you buy it from our Amazon wish list, it ships directly to us.
Sure.
That's what the list is for.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. Generous people that want to do generous things. That's all I'm saying. Also, we have actually gotten some fan mail recently from some people that have sent stuff to our P.O. box.
Yeah,
you know who you are. Thank you immeasurably.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to like just put people's names and stuff out there on the podcast.
Yeah.
In front of thousands of people, but you do know who you are. And thank you immeasurably. We've gotten some very cool stuff, and we are very thankful.
Yes.
If you, what kind of support would you add to make Dragon Maid playable?
Okay. So they're already kind of playable as is, exactly because of bestials.
Yes.
Just so happen to also be dragons in the 6 to 8 level range.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about pure Dragon Maid.
A Link 1.
Yeah, a solid Link 1.
Yeah, I think you add a Link 1 to any archetype, and it makes it better.
Yeah, like a Link 1 Searcher.
A Link 1 anything makes every archetype better. It could be a Link 1 vanilla. It makes you better. Let's see. By the way, a Dragon Maid sprite deck topped yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, I say yesterday. Saturday at a regional.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday as we're recording.
Yeah. Okay. If you could give an archetype a manga, which archetypes come to mind?
I would like to see a slice of life Dragon Maid manga, actually.
Oh no. Don't give this to them. No.
Something along the lines of Natchitoches.
I don't know what that means. Explain.
So there's a scene in Natchitoches where it's a slice of life anime in a middle school.
Okay.
Main character's a middle school girl named Natchitoches. There's a scene where she's out in the hallway and she looks out and there's a deer in the middle of the school.
Okay.
Because the way the school's designed, it's like a box, and then there's like a little grassy area in the middle,
like a quad.
Yeah, there's a deer there.
Sure.
She's like, "Why is there a deer there?" And then the principal walks up to her and she's like, "Oh, the principal's gonna take care of it." He gets gored by the deer, and of course she's like, "Oh no, he's dead!" And he gets up and just rips his shirt off, and he's got a Kevlar vest underneath.
What? Why?
And then he tries to like get it out again, gets scored a second time, doesn't affect because Kevlar vest, and he goes, "All right, I'm done with you," and like tackles it, and then like flips it up and then suplexes it onto its back.
Listen, people, even deer are wild animals, and you should stay a good safe distance away from any wild animal, big or small.
Hold on. And the cherry on top, his toupee falls off.
After
he suplexes the deer.
Oh my goodness.
And then he leads it away.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I can just see it now. Bam. Bloop. Toupee comes off.
Yeah, it's great. Natchitoches is amazing.
I would personally like to see like an action series for the elemental heroes.
That would be cool.
Yeah, something along the lines of
something like the late Golden Age, early Silver Age of comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
You know what else would be amazing? What if they did one for the Plunder Patrols, where they're all on a quest to go find this one massive treasure at the end of the sea?
As soon as you said Plunder Patrol, I knew exactly where you were going with that.
They all have these crazy powers. They have like one character in particular that's like crazy determined and you can't be stopped, and he's just
I think that would be Blackbeard.
More awesome than anybody else. They have like a mascot in was it Black Eyes?
Yeah, the Raven.
Yeah, they have a mascot. He's also the doctor.
Each knee sunshine, go. Let's go.
I'm making a One Piece reference. If those that didn't get it, it's a One Piece reference.
Yes, yes. If you were not aware,
I think that there's other ones. I really believe that a manga where you have the Sword Soul with the Ice Jades with the dog were the Dogmaticas part of that?
No. No, it's
Are you sure? Because I think the Dogmaticas are part of the Albaz lore.
no.
And I know the Albaz are in the same lore as the Sword Souls and the Ice Jades.
I don't think Ice Jades. I don't remember.
No, they definitely are. The Ice Jades are definitely part of the Sword Soul and Albaz lore.
Yeah, because all Albaz, Dogmatic, that's all part of one lore. And then the second set of lore
And
right
Tri
now.
Brigade.
Yeah. And also Sprite.
And no, not Sprite. Spriggans.
No, Spriggans and Sprite is part of it too.
Sprite is a different one.
No, Sprite is part of the Albaz lore.
No, Sprite is part of a different lore.
Dude, Kit is on Sprite Sprind in the background.
No.
Yes.
Okay, I'm Googling.
Look it up. But yes, Sprite is part of it. Also, Therians are in there too. Yeah, you gotta look real close in the background.
I'll be danged.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess the sprites are part of it.
Oh, and the Therians are too.
Are they?
Yeah, there's a card.
Okay,
where that
now we need a manga with all of that in it.
to explain what's going on.
Okay, so the Visa Starfrost
that's
is
its
a
own
different
thing.
one. Okay,
that's
so
Kingdom Hearts.
So that's Visa Starfrost,
Scareclaw
Scareclaw,
and Tearlament.
Tearlament, and is there
Kushatri
anything?
Law.
And Kshatriy. So far.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind a manga on the Visa Starfrost and the Albaz lore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be spectacular.
I would love to see a Super Sentai manga based on the Insectors.
I don't know what that means. Oh, is that like a Power Ranger kind of manga?
Yeah. Or like Great Saiyaman from Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
Great Saiyaman!
Oh, editor, please do something with that.
I will. I'm the one who's going to be editing this.
Oh, yeah, you're going to do this episode. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Great
also, another
Saiyaman!
reason to support us on Patreon, so we can pay our real editor
Yeah.
lots of money. We want to pay him lots of money because he does a good job.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. What else do we have here? Do you think a rotating format of Yu-Gi-Oh could survive?
I mean, it'd be like a rotating format in like Pokemon or Magic, which is just the standard.
Yeah, but I think in Yu-Gi-Oh they would have to do it very particularly.
Yeah.
I think that it would have to have its own set of releases, such as instead of...
I mean, they'd have to change a lot about how they produce cards. There's a lot of change that would have to make to the game itself.
I think that the best way to do a Yu-Gi-Oh set rotation format would be to so you release it initially with about a 500 card set, right? Then after releasing it with a 500 card set, you then every like 4 months you release a new set. Now, the catch is everything in these sets is reprints. So you can get rid of the yearly Megatins.
Yeah.
And you can start it off initially when it very first begins. Yu-Gi-Oh! Standard. And you have Advanced, which is everything, and then you have Standard. Standard would be 500 cards, hand-picked, curated from any point in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. This also gives an excellent way to provide a regular reprint structure to older cards.
Okay, so the issue that
And then every 4 months you get a 150 card set, and everything is all reprints all the time. So your Advanced is going to be wildly different from Standard, and then as time progresses, Standard it rotates out every 2 years, right?
Okay, so like the biggest issue though with that is, yeah, there's gonna be reprint after reprint after reprint, but then you can't use half of them like 2 years later. So, and then something else.
Who cares? You already probably have copies of these cards because they're reprints.
Hold on. Something else you also have to keep in mind is that with Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, which are the other two major card games with the rotations, they have something to stick the rotation onto to keep everything thematic. Pokemon has whatever game just came out, wherever region the anime's in, what the games are doing.
Sure.
So like right now, the
last 2 years of Yu-Gi-Oh, we've been getting the Albaz lore.
Yeah.
What is that if not thematic? We've been getting Sky Striker support for years.
Yeah, but then they'd have to stop giving us pretty much everything else.
No. You do this in conjunction with regular core sets to support Advanced.
Now, a great example of like the way they'd have to do it is, okay, cool, we just released Labyrinth, so we're going to reprint cards that were illegal to make them legal again, stuff like Bear Blocker, which hasn't been legal in 5 ever because it rotated out of rotation a long time ago. Invader of Darkness, same thing, came out, we just never reprinted it. It's time for a reprint because this deck can utilize it.
Right.
But then you'd also get reprints of awful stuff like the Barrier Statue, which
The thing is those cards are already legal in advanced.
yeah.
So the reprint only affects standard, and they don't have to reprint those cards in standard, but you'll end up with cards like MST or Cosmic Cyclone that will get reprinted consistently. Ends up with cards like Ash Blossom and Ghost Ogre, which get very, very consistent reprints, except now it's as set filler.
Well, another issue then is that, well, yeah, but then
Drink
like,
every time Caleb disagrees with Sunny.
but like the biggest, but like, and then of course something else that they would have to do that they're not going to do.
Sure.
They'd have to actually give us the lore behind a lot of these archetypes.
So they don't have to do anything. They just have to curate and pick a good format, and it doesn't even need a ban list unless something is particularly egregious, because like whatever card it is gone in 2 years anyway.
I mean, that's entirely
It's literally just looking and combing through the game's history and saying, I want this in, I want this in, I want this in, I do not want this, and that's it.
that's not how set rotations are decided.
That's how it could be decided in Yu-Gi-Oh! Though. It's decided in Pokemon and Magic differently because the cards coming out in standard sets are brand new cards.
To be fair,
mostly.
a lot of the cards in Pokemon, like, so you
It'll
have
be the same card with a different name.
yeah, like Professor Oak has been reprinted as Professor Elm, Professor Birch.
Exactly.
Because you have your Professor, which is discard your hand, draw 7. And then you usually have Pokeball, Great Ball, and Ultra Ball.
Sure.
Are pretty standard and just constantly kept in rotation.
Sure.
And then from there it's just kind of whatever.
Well, you have different trainers and stuff like that essentially have the same effect, but it's a different trainer. Like each of the gym leaders will get their own card and things like that.
Then something else that Yu-Gi-Oh does not have that Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh both have is
Pokemon and Magic.
Pokemon Magic. Thank you. Is what I've been for this. I'm just going to call infinitely reprinted energies and lands.
Sure.
Because no matter
that's the difference is they have like 15 cards per pack where we has 9.
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't need a token in every pack. We don't need a land or an energy in every pack.
So the reason why I say the infinitely repeated ones though is because let's say you played back in 1998.
Sure.
When you have base set fire energy. And
Sure.
you come back into Pokemon. You can buy like a bunch of new cards and just use your old energy.
Yeah, but Yu-Gi-Oh, you only need a 40 card deck instead of 60.
Which is not, but you have.
So you need 20 less cards. So essentially, you don't need those, right? So you still need about 40 cards. It's the same numbers essentially.
It's not the numbers.
And even then, the cards that they're reprinting, if I have my Mystical Space Typhoon from 2005, it's still the same card that it is now. So cards like that get reprinted and see play in standard would be magnanimous throughout the history of the game.
But it's not the numbers that's important. Well, the part that's important is that somebody could be going through their closet, see, oh, I have all these old Pokemon cards.
Yeah, but they could do that with Yu-Gi-Oh! With what I'm saying, because it's all reprints from old cards.
But the issue, though, is that if somebody does that, they'll look through stuff and realize there will be a point where I can't use any of my new cards. I'm not going to bother.
Then you play Advanced. Because Advanced is everything.
Yeah.
It's the same reason that you can buy a deck in Standard in Magic, and then after 2 years go, I'll just play it in Pioneer now.
Yeah. But then that would mean that Konami actually has to bother having a
designated person on their R&D team to do something like that, which will never happen.
Exactly.
But the idea is that I think it would be a good idea to have it as a separate format from Advanced.
Oh, yeah, no, it'd be great. It would just take a lot of changing up on how cards are printed.
Yeah, sure.
It would also majorly help them rein in power creep.
Yeah, for sure.
Majorly.
But I think you can't do it. You can't do it in place of Advanced.
Yeah.
You have to release sets that support both. And with the current structure of set releases in Yu-Gi-Oh,
It's not gonna,
we would have to give up some of our regular reprint sets like Ghost from the Past 2 or
The Megatins.
Magnificent Mavens or the Megatins, which I would be fine with for an added extra heavily supported format.
Yeah,
I would be
yeah.
fine with that. Because at the end of the day, those sets are built to reprint old cards, and you would be doing that anyway, except now you're also supporting an alternative format.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's just me. What should I name the shiny I caught?
Shiny Sceptile?
Yeah, editor, throw this picture right here up on the screen,
Yeah.
like right here.
Is it a boy or a girl?
I don't know. The arrow is going up.
Okay. It is male. So for shiny Sceptiles, if it's female, I normally go for Fern. And if it's a male, I normally go for
Diplodocus.
no, the last time I had a male shiny Sceptile, it was a Mega Sceptile, so I called it Christmasal.
Christmasal.
Because Mega Sceptile's tail looks like a Christmas tree and it can launch it.
Oh no, Christmasal.
Yeah.
Oh, what about X-Missile?
Yeah, X-Missile could work. Like I said, the reason why is because Mega Sceptile's tail looks, the end of its tail looks like a Christmas tree, and it can fire it like a missile.
Sure.
And just immediately regrow it.
I'm thinking you name it.
Forest.
No. Sequoia.
Fair enough.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck Chuck Norris? If that woodchuck can chuck Chuck Norris, it can chuck a lot of wood. Just saying. In your opinions, what would be a decent state in the East Coast to move to? Caleb's like, dog, I've been to the East Coast one time and we didn't even make it to the coast.
Yeah.
You've been in East Coast states. You've been in 3 different East Coast states, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Florida, Georgia, South Carolina.
Yeah. 2 of which were on the same trip to North Carolina.
Oh, and North Carolina. We went to North Carolina.
Yeah.
And Florida, I was also on that trip
Yeah.
with you. Yeah. So we've only been to half of those states. Actually, I've been to New York. I flew into New York for YCS Niagara Falls. So I've done that too. I will say, Western New York is really nice. Like that Buffalo area, super sweet.
If you can afford it.
Well, Western New York isn't that bad cost of living wise. It's really not. Yeah, Western New York is not that outrageous. Like East New York is crazy. Western New York, though, not that bad.
Cool.
The issue with Western New York is that they get blizzards. They get giant snowstorms every year.
Coming down from Canada, yeah.
Yeah, well, all the moisture from the Great Lakes in
Yeah.
Canada, they just blow right over. It's the worst. I think it was like, I want to say it was about 2 weeks ago, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. It was the middle of the day, but it was so cloudy and snowing so hard that it looked like nighttime outside. And it was, I'm not even joking, there was 7 feet of snowfall.
Rough.
The snow drifts were even higher. The Buffalo Bills had to move their game to Detroit.
Rough.
Disgusting. So that's one reason not to live there. Now, if you go further up into Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, I've heard that they have very good school systems up there if you have kids or whatever, so that's not bad. Personally, I think the farthest north I would go would maybe be probably the Carolinas. I'm a pretty big fan of living where it doesn't snow a ton. So personally, the Carolinas are about my cutoff point. I did like North Carolina.
I thought it was nice.
Yeah.
Weather was really nice.
And I'm going to be honest, Florida's not that bad. I know it's crazy. I know you hear stories. The only issue with Florida is hurricanes, but you could potentially get that anywhere on the East Coast. So
There is actually an explanation for Florida, man. Like, legitimate explanation. It's not that crazier stuff happens in Florida. That kind of stuff happens all over the U.S.
It's just that Florida has a lot more people and a lot more, like...
No.
No?
Other states have laws about reporting on specifics. Florida does not.
Okay. All right. With Konami recently reprinting a lot more expensive cards in staples and past formats, i.e. Hades, do you think we will ever get an official Konami support on popular retro formats and remove Cyber Dragon from Time Wizard so it can be actual GOAT format?
Okay. For the second answer, they already did that.
Yeah, so it was just the European Nationals that they had messed up the Time Wizard rules. Going forward for the last few YCSs, such as YCS, I want to say, don't quote me on this, Pasadena, maybe the Latin American YCSs that we've had, and what was the other YCS that they had besides Pasadena? Minneapolis. For each of those YCSs, they were doing past format events. They were doing Time Wizard events with actual GOAT format set up correctly.
No Xarian Universe, no Cyber Dragon.
Right. And they were also running Edison format events. From my understanding was that 50 plus Edison side events kicked off over that weekend. Yeah.
But long story short, they've already fixed that. For the first part of the question,
Yeah, with Konami recently reprinting a lot more expensive staples in past formats, do you think we will ever get an official Konami support on popular retro formats?
God, I hope so.
I think that Konami is already doing what they can to support these retro formats at the initial starting level, right? So you have them running mass Time Wizard events at YCSs.
As far as reprints go, that's kind of what Speed Duel's been so far.
Yeah, but Speed Duel doesn't. Yeah, kind of. Speed Duel does do a good job of reprinting some cards, but Speed Duel is really limited in that there's certain cards that they just cannot reprint at all for any reason, such as Metamorphosis, Trap Dust Shoot.
Yeah.
You don't want those in
Pot of
ruining.
Greed.
Yeah, you don't want those ruining the Speed Duel format. But there are other cards that need reprints, such as, like we said, Revive King Hades, Doom Kaiser Dragon, the entire Blackwing Corps, except for Kalut, Shura, Armed Wing, and Armor Master. What? Come on, where are those at?
You know what'd be funny?
What?
They for one day unban the big three just to reprint them.
But the big three, well, I guess I say that. Delinquent Duo needs a reprint. But like Graceful Charity and Pot of Greed don't even need reprints.
Yeah.
Delinquent Duo needs a reprint. Metamorphosis, Trap Dust Shoot, Substitute.
Yeah. Well,
the X-Wing and Gladiator Beast cores both need reprints.
Yeah, no.
Not because they're particularly expensive, but just because they're kind of hard to come across.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
Yeah, no, just for the funny, just for the giggles of it, they for a single day unban banned cards to reprint them, and the next day they're banned again.
Yeah,
if their big rule is that they're not allowed to reprint banned cards.
But that's just factually incorrect, right? That's not a rule. I mean, look at the Legendary Collections. They reprinted tons of banned cards, including Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, Delinquent Duo, and more.
Yeah, but those were special, kind of. Those were like different off products as opposed to.
Well, then what they need is
another different off product.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's what I've been saying, and we don't know. We might see that in the Maze of Madness product.
I just thought of a really cool product they could do.
A time capsule?
Besides a time capsule.
Sure.
Or they just reprint random ban cards just cuz. They should have a Konami ban list vault.
Okay.
Or Yu-Gi-Oh! Vault of Destiny or something.
Where it's just a big one product that reprints all the banned cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be too bad. What if it just did every card that's ever been banned?
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're kind of telling on themselves if they do a product that's all the banned cards, because it's really hard to keep up with.
Fair enough.
Because they have to R&D these products and put everything into put everything together.
Yeah. Okay.
They have to do it. Generally, the product timeline for TCGs, and I can't say with certainty that this is the timeline for Konami specifically, but I've seen interviews specifically. Tolarian Community College did an interview with the professor from TCC.
Yeah.
Did an interview with the founder and creator of Commander format, who is still on the ruling board for Commander format.
Did a couple of videos where I actually got to play him.
Yes, and there is, of course, a ton of discourse around choosing what cards get printed. Do the people that essentially run Commander format have a say in these Wizards of the Coast Commander products? And they do to a certain extent. But the lifetime for a product. I don't think many people realize how long it takes Konami or any of these major card game companies that are big bloated companies to go in and do research and R&D and development on a product. Something like a commander set, for example, in Magic. That could be 18 months to 2 years of R&D that goes into one product.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at, and I applaud Wizards of the Coast for the, what's the word I'm looking for? For the transparency that they have with their player base on a lot of these things, because Wizards of the Coast is not going to sue an employee or fire an employee or whatever for
them talking about, hey,
publicly discussing something.
Yeah, some of the inner machinations of Wizards, particularly on the actual production of the cards themselves, because that's something that's fascinating on how they come up with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it to me is one of the most interesting parts of card games is the R&D and design and things like that. I would love if somebody from Konami does listen to this podcast, which I believe somebody does, but I don't know who. If somebody from Konami is listening, please, I would give anything to have a formal interview with somebody from the R&D department. Anybody. I just think that part of the process is something that is so critical in the structure of the game that we love and play. And I think it's incredibly fascinating.
And then, like, even if it's a case of, we can't talk about anything that's currently in the works.
Of course.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about some of the development cycle of, I don't know, the most recent set that came out like a year ago.
Yeah, like let's even talk about something like Sword Soul or something like that. And I'm curious, how deeply does Konami go into the vault? And how deeply do they go into, into the, how deep do they dive into the card pool to see, like, when they built Infernoble, did they know people were going to come up with Smoke Grenade of the Thief?
Like
things like that. They really fascinate me. When they built Sword Soul, did they think that people were going to realize that how bad Arch Nemesis Protoss was going to be for the format? It's curious.
It's absolutely fascinating to know how much of the ridiculous shenanigans that happen did Konami already know about, and we're like, sure, let's let them have that.
Yeah,
as opposed to just, oh, that's how that works.
Yeah, I think the R&D side is so fascinating. But when you have something like that takes 18 months to 2 years, that's why I think that we could very well, in the very near future, see something. By this time next year, I believe that we'll have an announcement, if not a release date set for a product that's essentially a Time Wizard capsule or something specifically catered to Time Wizard format. Because if you look at it, Time Wizard format was announced at the very beginning of this year, and that 18-month to 2-year product cycle will be coming to fruition around this time next year.
Yeah.
So I believe by this time next year, we could have an extremely cool Time Wizard product in the works as far as a release date and everything. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that, because that could be coming very soon. Just the the cycle of these products just takes time. So.
Oh yeah, because they have to come up with the ideas, and they have to work out the mechanics and
card list, everything.
Artwork.
Yeah, I mean, they have to do a lot. So
should this monster have 1,500 attacks or 16? But maybe we should just go down to 1,550.
To be fair, on an all reprint set, I think that it's a little bit different. At that point, it's more about figuring out what the structure of the product is going to be.
What's reprinted, what rarities.
Yes, exactly. All right, what decks are both of you guys looking to build in the future? I'm currently trying to put together Tier Limit Ishizu.
Yeah.
We'll see. If not, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't mind putting together Morphtronic FTK, personally.
I'm about 3 weeks behind on a Ishizu. Well, I've been calling the deck Madolche and Friends, but it's like Madolche, Ishizu, and Verniself.
Yeah.
Madolche and Friends.
What do you think is the healthiest mindset when approaching competitive aspirations?
I am going to go in and give it 130%.
Yes, I would say the healthiest mindset for competitive aspirations. So, for me personally, my goal at every event is to do better than I did last time.
Yes.
So, for example, if I go to a case tournament last time I bubbled. Well, this time I want to do top 8. Last time I did top 8. This time I want to do top 4. Regional, I got my invite, but I didn't get top cut. Like, I didn't get top 8 where I can get the deck box. Well, now I want to go and get the deck box and stuff. YCS, I've never day 2, so I want a day 2. Things like that.
For me, I go in to give it my 110%, and then if I do poorly, because it can happen, it can just happen. You have a bad string of luck, whatever. I'll be mad at myself if it was something I did, or I'll just be mad at the situation if it was just a string of bad luck. But always keep in mind, it's a game.
Absolutely. You have to have that mindset of, at the end of the day, it is a game. So you can't beat yourself up too much over it.
Yeah, no, because like as soon as the tournament's over and we walk out of that door, I just drop it.
Yeah, you have to.
I drop the feelings, not the event, if that makes sense.
You have to be able to take away what you did wrong and not hold it against yourself.
Yeah.
So, what are some examples of things you are actively doing to improve at the game? Might be nice to get some basics examples as well as more advanced or less mentioned. So, I'll be honest, I'm not playing a ton of advanced right now.
Same.
And it's not because I don't like the format. I think it's actually a pretty cool format. This time of year, I really just don't have the time to play a lot.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah, it's just Christmas time for me being a UPS driver. It's just not really something that's in the cards. But overall, I think that the best thing that you can do is challenge yourself to play as much as possible with the best players you know. I don't think that going to your locals and playing the same 3 people every week is necessarily the best thing.
Unless
it can be good.
Oh yeah, unless one of those people is,
really broken at the game.
Yeah.
I would say that to me, iron sharpens iron, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me personally, I would want to be able to test and cut my teeth against the best players I can possibly test with. If I could sit down every night and get on Dueling Book and play test against Hani, Pac, Jesse Cotton, Raphael Nevin, and that list, right? That's what I would be trying to do every day. Because the better your group is, the better you can be. That's one of the biggest things mentioned in Patrick Hoban's book, Road of the King.
Yeah.
The most important thing for your growth as a player is the people that you surround yourself with. If you're not looking to be the best player in the world, that's fine. But if you want to be better, then you need to surround yourself with better players. It's a different mindset. And it's not that you have to get rid of your friends that you have. It's that you have to understand, you have to align yourself with people that have a similar goal as yourself. Because if you're surrounded by people that are just, they don't care about competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with having friends that don't want to play competitively. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
But when you're going in to test for a regional or for a YCS, try to find testing partners that are also really competitive and want to play the game at the highest levels. Yeah. I think that that's really important. So, basic examples as well as less mentioned. I don't know that there's anything really that I would say is just a less mentioned example. The only other thing I can say is be very careful of personal bias when making deck choices.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to look at a card in your deck that it's just a one of, that's just a card that you love, and say, I don't want to take this out. But is it actually doing anything for you?
A great example of that actually happened recently was Labyrinth with me and Invader of Darkness. It's a great card when
in specific situations.
Yeah.
Against what, Runic?
Yeah, against Runic, it just, that's it. If you're able to stick that to the board, Runic is done.
Mm-hmm.
They can't play. And if they're like one of those Runic piles, the entire Runic engine is gone. Right. Shut off until they out it, if they can't even out it. Runic's not even really a thing anymore. It's still a thing,
but it's not prevalent.
It's not that prevalent. So I had to make that decision to take out the Invader of Darkness. As much as I love the Invader of Darkness,
You have to understand.
Yeah.
Another Hoban example. I don't know why. I hear these stories and they stick in my head.
Yeah.
When Patrick Hoban was first starting to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, he was on the bubble for topping a regional. I believe maybe it was maybe his first regional top. And as he's sitting there on the bubble, he's looking at his side deck, or he was looking at his hand. And his favorite card of all time is Time Wizard. That's Hoban's flat out favorite card. And he was running one Time Wizard in his deck. And his opponent had a board presented, and Hoban had two options. He could either normal summon the Time Wizard and go for the funny play, or he could normal summon a different monster, maybe a Stratos or whatever,
And go for the good play.
and make a good play. And right then and there, it clicked. No, I want to win. I actually want to win.
Yeah.
And he did it, and he won. So, just don't let your personal bias take over. And that's a competitive aspiration thing. So, what are some ways that we as a community can be more welcoming towards women wanting to play Yu-Gi-Oh? Don't be creepy.
Yeah. And then call out other people
that are being misogynistic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really simple. If you see a girl at your locals playing Yu-Gi-Oh, don't be condescending. There's a pretty fair chance that she's better than you. So, think about that.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, don't condescend. Treat them as you would any other player that you're not familiar with.
Yeah, if I walk...
Not one of your buddies. A player you're not familiar with.
Yeah, if I walk up to a table and I see that my opponent is a woman, here's how my demeanor is. The same as it would be for anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't treat them coldly or meanly, but I don't treat them like a child. I treat them like a normal human being.
Listen. Here's how I start almost each and every one of my games. After introduction, make sure I'm at my opponent. Well, hey man, how's your day been going? Yeah? Oh, I hate that deck. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Wait, I had this one play that happened a little while ago. No?
Yeah, just be a normal human. Yeah, it's...
And then, like we said, call out anyone who's not.
Yeah, if you're sitting next to somebody and they're being, pardon my French, but just being a dickhead for no particular reason, just call them out. Be like, hey, dude, come on.
That's not cool.
That's not fine. Like, that's not cool. Just act like an adult. I mean, just...
It was
be a pleasant person to be around.
As my fathers would say, act your age, not your shoe size.
Yeah, exactly.
Says the man who wears
even if you have big feet. Come on.
Says the man who wears size 9. To be fair,
I wear size 13, and I still wouldn't want to act my shoe size.
To be fair, I think the largest shoe size they actually make is like a 20.
I want to say Shaq was like a 23 or something.
But I think he gets his custom made.
I'm just gonna say, the largest shoe size that you can find on a typical
Walmart shelf.
Walmart or Academy or wherever you shop for your shoes, the Nike outlet, whatever. The biggest shoe size you're going to normally find is a 13.
Yeah.
13 and a half, 14, forget it. It's like finding a golden ticket. It's impossible.
This is coming from a man who wears a size 9.
I wear a 13. I've some shoe sizes run small. Like my wife wanted me to get this shoe. It's called like a Hey Dude, right? Mm-hmm. It's almost like a boat shoe kind of.
Oh, I think I know the exact shoe you're talking about. Those are nice.
They're like slip-ons.
Yeah.
And they're just like super loose. It's just like very basic cloth fabric.
I used to have a pair of those.
Yeah, it was similar to those. I know what you're talking about. It's a different brand, but it's really similar to those.
Very nice shoes. Very comfy.
Yeah. So my wife wanted me to get these Hey Dudes, and we're at the store yesterday and I was looking at a pair, and I put on a pair of 13s, and they were too small. And it's like, huh?
It might have been a 13 narrow.
No. It's not that they were too narrow. It's that they weren't too short.
Okay.
Because some shoes just run small.
Yeah.
Right. I wear a 13 in one brand, but I know if I wear a 13 in a Nike, but I know if I go to an Under Armour shoe, I need a 14.
Fair.
Right? Or if I go to like a dress boot, like a cowboy boot, I need a 12.
To be fair, every shoe brand I've ever purchased, I've been a size 9.
Oh, yeah, no, mine, I don't know. Maybe it's something about
It might-
the extra couple of inches of foot.
It's
They
got-
just.
It's got to be. I think it's a case of like after 9. I think everything's like standardized at a 9, but then above that is where it gets kind of wild westy,
Yeah, I don't know.
where
but
there is no.
I don't know.
You know.
I have no idea. All I know is just like some t-shirts run small, some shoes do. Again, I know for a fact
got
an
way-
Under Armour shoe I need a 14.
We got way off topic here.
Well, what I'm trying to say is,
Don't be a dick.
yeah, that. So I guess we'll circle back and say that. I wanted to say something else about shoes. Anyway, if you need a 14, I looked on the shelf at the Hey Dudes. I tried on the 13. It didn't fit. I looked over and there was nothing past the 13 because there never is.
Yeah. So at your
Never.
age, not your shoe size.
Yeah. How do you deal with the balance of work-life Yu-Gi-Oh when you're in your most competitive phases? So this is difficult.
Okay, hold on. I know the perfect way to describe it. you're at a wall, and the wall is made up of sleep, work, whatever, and you're holding Yu-Gi-Oh, and you're like, I can't fit this. You look at sleep, unless as you start reaching for that block.
Oh my goodness.
It's a meme. I don't remember where it's from.
The point is, sleep is for the weak, and energy drinks are something that work. So energy drinks and coffee, you do it all. Here's how we do it. I can't speak for you. Here's how I do it. I leave for work about 8:30 most mornings. I'm usually at work until about 7 to 8 o'clock. I get home from work about 8:30, so I'm gone about 12 hours of the day.
Yeah.
3 days a week, we record the podcast. We usually get done recording between 11 and midnight because I stay up to put my child to sleep, and then we come up with our topic and get rolling and things like that. Maybe play a game of Edison format just to enjoy time with each other as friends before we actually get here as like co-workers almost.
Yeah.
So we usually get done recording between 11:30 and midnight. I might stay up late doing a thumbnail or something like that. Caleb does the audio, and usually we have an editor that does video. When he is unavailable, Caleb does video. So then the day after we record the audio video, we do all the editing and sometimes record another episode that day, such as when we need to do our patron episodes. And then after that, the next day, we record another episode. After that, we edit that episode. After that, it's Friday.
Where the episode posts.
Right. And we want a day off. So we usually take Friday evenings off, spend time with our families. Saturdays. So basically, in between work and recording, I try to spend time with my family because they all go to sleep very early because they get up earlier than I do.
Yeah.
And then Saturdays, I'll spend a few hours in the morning with my family. I'll go to a tournament for a Saturday afternoon.
If we have one.
Right. And then Saturday evening, I'll try to be home. And then Sunday, I'll spend all day at home.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then Sunday
evening, we record again and it starts all over again.
Yeah.
We stay very busy. And if I have a major tournament coming up and I need to test a lot, my sleep goes from like, usually I sleep like 6 to 7 hours a night.
Yeah.
It'll go down like 4 to 5. So, sleep for the week.
I work a 9 to 5. So
Yeah. Why is Kshatriya Fenrir? Just why? I don't know. I don't even think it's that crazy of a card.
It's specifically because
Konami said so. What's the most difficult deck you've piloted and got bad results with? Sword Soul.
Most difficult.
Sword Soul Tenyi with Hauki Fibrax combo was insane. Sword Soul Tenyi Hauki Fibrax combo with Protos specifically.
I remember.
Holy moly! I was bad at that deck.
I remember Dragon Link. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. It was Dragon Link and
Phantom Knight.
Yeah. PK Dragon Link was. I remember it being complicated, but I don't know if it was actually complicated. It was just my lack of experience. The rust that was still.
Getting back into the game.
Yeah, or if that was just it, or if it was just that complicated.
Yeah. Let's see here. What's the simplest deck you've piloted and gotten good results? Dude, Tri Brigade. I felt like that deck was really complicated when I was playing it.
Once you got into it.
But once I got really good with the deck and then moved from it to Sword Soul, I was like, oh, please let me go back to Tri Brigade where I can just activate Fractal and go Herder and go full combo.
For me, it was Dino Rabbit.
Oh yeah, Dino Rabbit was keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, no. And I actually got top 4 at a local with that.
Yeah, Dino Rabbit was kind of helmet.
Yeah, my in the very last game, I won because my opponent had no cards in hand. I had no cards in hand. We both had no cards on field. What's my top deck?
Dino Rabbit or Rescue Rabbit.
No, Spirit Reaper.
That's disgusting.
So I look at it and go, pass.
Sure.
He draws, pass. Perfect. Draw, normal summon, attack. He goes, crap.
Yeah, that's bad.
He set a Monster Reborn.
Oh, good lord.
I put him on set it or lose it.
That's disgusting. Also, Blackwings in Edison format are really, really simple.
Surprisingly so.
Yeah. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
I like dogs in theory, but I can't really have a dog because we're gone from the house 12 to 14 hours a day, and dogs need attention. So a cat is the only thing that works for us, but my wife is allergic to cats, so neither. The Albaz lore gets an anime. Are you watching it?
Yes.
Yes. What voice actor do you think fits Shureg the best?
Who the guy? I can't think of the voice actor's name. The guy who voices Lloyd from Spy X, who voices Lloyd from Spy X Family.
I was thinking the guy that voices, oh gosh, Führer Bradley on Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Hold on. I'm looking it up.
Sure. Do you play any musical instruments? If so, did you ever aspire to play music for a living?
Yes, I play saxophone. No.
I played trombone in middle school, and no. I don't remember much about it, but I did play trombone a little bit. We were in the band together. That's how we met.
Yeah.
We were in marching band together.
Ed Blaylock.
Cool.
Is your guy.
Is Maxi coming back? No. Predictions. Why would it be good for the game and why would it be bad for the game? It would be bad for the game. It would not be good for the game at all.
The reason why it'd be bad is because it then comes to normal summon. Do you have Max C? Yes. Congratulations, you win.
In a way, I think the worst part about Max C in the format is that when you have a combo deck playing Max C, it becomes a lot more inherently unfair than a non-combo deck playing Max C, right? So something like imagine you had Drytron at full power, right? With 3 Herald of Orange Light, 3 Eva, 3 Ben 10, full power Drytron.
Oh yeah, no, that's...
And now you can go full Drytron board and have a Max C in your hand at the end.
Yep.
Imagine.
To just draw more hand traps.
Or imagine you are playing Tri Brigade and you can go 1 card full Tri Brigade board. You can filter cards through your deck using the Ferrigita Baron Blossom. So you have more chances to draw into it. You're also playing Desires at the end of your combo, should you choose. You can just, draw an extra couple of cards trying to get your hand traps like a Maxi. So now, not only do you have your Appaloosa, maybe a double Dragon Lords in your Revolt, you also have Maxi in your hand.
Who then, upon pitching it and drawing,
either your opponent can't special summon or you're going to plus $1 million.
Yeah. And then, you'll just draw into more hand traps, too. That's a big thing, is that... Yeah. Which is why it becomes a situation of, okay, cool, I have full combo, but you have Max C, so you win.
Yeah. Do you feel competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Designs are becoming homogenous and uninteresting?
Not really.
If anything, I think they're becoming more diverse by the deck.
Now, the thing is that they're homogenizing a lot of archetypal cards. Like, every deck has a searcher. They have a field spell. They have a searcher for the field spell.
Sure.
But the individuals themselves are different.
Floowandereeze is nothing but normal summons. Tri Brigade Link summons from the graveyard. Tear Limit fuses and summons from the graveyard. Sword Soul is built around Worm Synchro Summoning.
Worm Spam.
Yeah, every deck has its own thing that it wants to do. And I think that's really cool. Warrock are a battle trick deck. It's not good, but that's what they do.
It's cool. It's a cool
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah. What is the coolest synergy between two unrelated archetypes that you have seen? Tenyi Swordsoul. Come on.
For me, it's Madolche and every Earth Fairy ever.
That's also fair.
It's hilarious.
Do you think that the 40 card standard deck size is on its way out with the amount of engines that are being prioritized rather than the old single archetypal strategy? Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
do.
definitely.
I do personally because I see decks like when the Dragon Link deck was popular and the Dragon Link... Oh, Dragon Link Phantom Knights for that last question. The synergy between two random things that don't really seem like they should synergize, that was one. I would say, though, that the 40 card standard is on its way out to a certain extent. You're always going to have decks where they prioritize
40 cards.
Like a lot of times control decks like Sky Striker, Eldritch, things like that.
Labyrinth.
Yeah, sure. But when you look at decks like these big elaborate combo decks like Dragon Link was, like you had even Adamantipator to a certain extent, like these crazy pile combo decks, Prank Kids.
PK DPE.
Right. Whenever you have these elaborate combo decks where you're like, okay, I'm on 46 cards, but my consistency is the same and I have less chance of drawing into my 2 or 3 bricks.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that in theory we could, but only if the game is at a point where it's all engines like it was at the beginning of this year with DPE, Scythe Lock, and Adventure.
Yeah.
So. Let's see. What was the first video game you ever played? The first one I ever owned and played myself was maybe Pokemon Red.
Super Wario Land on the Nintendo Game Boy. The green brick.
I'm not surprised.
Second was Tetris on that same Game Boy.
Yeah. First game you ever played was probably actually some Flash game from the early 2000s.
Me?
No, me.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a Flash game, but I almost vaguely remember like when I was a child playing Mario on the Nintendo at a cousin's house.
This was 1996. I was 3.
I have no memories before like 6. So
there's there was a home video of me of when I was like 4, and they were getting ready for Christmas, and I was sitting there playing the Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like 4 years old, just
yeah.
Huge Game Boy. It was more like
yeah,
this.
they're all like that. The old ones were like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any cringe-inducing memories from high school or middle school?
Yes.
Yeah, but would I tell them to you? No.
No. The answer is yes. Will I elaborate? No.
Yeah, exactly.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Why is Welcome to the Black Parade the worst song on the Black Parade album? Well, it's the only one that I know, so...
It's the best and the worst.
Right. All right, the last question. Caleb, this is an important question that's
All right.
going to require some effort on your part.
Okay.
Can Caleb moonwalk from Giant Skyhawk? Only one way to find out.
I cannot moonwalk.
Give it a try.
No.
Come on, Caleb.
No,
What's the worst that could happen?
No, I can't. I've tried. I can't.
Okay.
I do not have the feet coordination.
All right, well, that's the last question, and that'll wrap it up for today's episode. If you want to ask us your mailbag questions, be sure to do so in our Discord server in the Mailbag Questions channel. So thank you all so much for working with the podcast, helping us out, throwing in those last-minute questions, because I sure forgot. So thank you all so much for your support, your listening, your commenting, everything. Thank you all so much for your support and your love that you've shown us. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. You can find Top Cut Podcast on YouTube. Please subscribe. We need subscriptions. Please be sure to, if you're not already following us on Spotify or Apple iTunes, if you enjoyed the podcast, please go ahead and do that. We would really appreciate that. And of course, if you are so inclined and you would like to support us further, we have a Patreon down below. And also we have our TCG Player and Dragon Shield affiliate links down below, as well as our sponsors, which are, again, Gem Accessories, ETB Games, and Millennium Threads. So with that said, thank you all so much for listening to today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast, and have a great day, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Top Cut, welcome to the Top Cut, welcome to the Top Cut, welcome to the Top Cut. Top Cut, welcome to the Top Cut, welcome to the Top Cut, welcome to